just quickly, I was watching this Vlad video with Boskoe 100. Now, Boskoe, I love that brother. That's a good brother. That's one of the realest brothers that's on YouTube, man. Love that dude. Shout out to Boskoe 100. But Vlad, like a lot of other people, Trump-hating people, they try to bait him into a reaction against President Trump by asking him about Trump. Boskoe was like, my life hadn't changed. Since Trump been in there, Trump hadn't affected my life, So Boskoe sounded like he was speaking in favor of Trump. And then Vlad turns around and say, sounds like you a Trump supporter. And he said, nah, I'm just keeping it real. But anyway, go to Vladtv and check out that video, the recent video that Boskoe 100 made. And Boskoe is one of the most realest brothers. I love that brother. That's the type of dude I can hang out with, man. But anyway, there's something that Vladtv said that kind of made me react. He was like, racism is worse now than it's ever been. And then he used a clip from Freeway Ricky, and he said, well, Freeway Ricky is 60 years old, and even he said it's the worst, right? Now, different people are going to have their own opinions according to their own experiences or according to their awareness. But in my humble opinion, because I'll be 60 in December, it's not worse. As a matter of fact, back in the 60s, back during the Civil Rights Movement, how many black congressmen did you know? I'll wait. How many black politicians, real black politicians, that you know of back during the Civil Rights Movement? When has there ever been a so-called black president? And even when it comes to the Black Lives Matter, when they're out there tagging walls, burning down businesses and protesting and rioting, there's a lot of white people among that. So you got black and white people, Asian people, different mixtures of people out there protesting, tearing up mess. Let that sink in for a moment. Back during the Civil Rights Movement, dogs were sicked on black people. Crosses were burned in front of their homes. They were lynched. A lot of black, even children, were found hanging. I remember in Atlanta, in the newspaper, there was a child hanging in the neighborhood. Somebody walking down the street, I think it was the mailman, saw this little kid hanging from a tree. Right? This is what happened back in the 60s. This is what happened back during the Civil Rights Movement. And you telling me that things are a lot better? Tell me how many interracial marriages and relationships happened back during the Civil Rights Movement. And you're telling me that it's worse now? Now, it may appear to be worse to you because in your young lifetime, it's the worst that has ever happened in your young lifetime. But if you were to compare this time with the Civil Rights Movement, the Jim Crow, there's no comparison. Because how many people got dog sick on them now? Black people. How many black people are sprayed down with water hose? Think about that. Think of all the stuff that was taking place back in the 50s and the 60s. How many civil rights leaders do you know that's being gunned down now like Martin Luther King was? Like y'all saw Malcolm X and saw what happened during, and that wasn't even a scratch of what happened back at that time when you watch Malcolm X. And you telling me that things are a lot better now because of one man? One man down on Trump. Racism has always been here. And I shared a story, man, back when I was in elementary school, man, when I almost drowned. And this white teacher walked up to me, Miss Legal, and said, that's what you get for not holding my coffee. After they pulled me out of this pool. And one day I'll share that story again, but I almost drowned as a kid. And that morning, she was like, hold my coffee. And I said, no. So we went on to gym class. All the kids jumped in the swimming pool. I jumped in the swimming pool too, because that was the first time I ever seen a pool, right? Started drowning, would never forget that feeling. And they cleared everything. Every time I came back up, I seen they was clearing all the kids off of the deck. And then when they got me out, when the lifeguard came in, first they had a bamboo pole trying to get me out of there. Then the lifeguard came in and got me. They laid me out, pumped all the water out my stomach. When I came to, She's standing over me with that Wilma Flintstone hairdo. That's what you get for not holding my coffee. And walked away. And I had my moms to go out and deal with her on that. All right. So you're telling me, and think about it. At that time, that was considered legal. It was okay. Teachers weren't losing their jobs. And you're telling me that racism is worse now than it was then? Y'all need to cut that lie out. So feedback, tell me what you think until next time. I'm fearless.